Hello out there. Randy Bueller here with Brian David Marshall. Having a little bit of technical difficulties with the video playback, so extended pregame.
Yeah, you didn't get to hear about Frank Karsten's corpse connoisseurship.
Oh, right. He takes that card really highly,
he takes that card, he has it like third or fourth pick. Third or fourth highest ranked common or uncommon in Shards of Alara.
Wow.
Yeah, but you can find that on the page.
It's online. It's online. Now what?
Now we have the semifinals. We have American Jamie Park looking to continue the run of Americans winning Pro Tours this year.
Yes.
Against Tsuyoshi Ikeda, playing Lightning Beatdown.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, he is looking at apparently a very bad matchup.
Bad for Jamie.
Yeah, bad for Jamie.
Yeah, Ikeda's Lightning is set up to do well against fairies and control, right?
Yep, it's just
black-red aggro.
Anytime that Jamie taps out, there's danger of a lot of damage coming right at his face. It's not a good scenario. He's got again just a murderer's row of players helping him test. He's got Nassif, he's got Herberholz, he's got Yelger, he's got Jacob Van Lunen. He's got a lot of Pro Tour wins over there, and they are. And they're just like, it's not good.
Okay.
So they're working really hard trying to figure out configurations. On the other side of the table, you have Hannes Karam and Antti Malin. So Fairies versus Kithkin. Kithkin seemed advantaged in the first matchup. He feels like Hannes feels like it's a slightly worse matchup for him than it was against Kenji.
Okay.
Anti's, worried, again, very worried about, obviously very worried about the Planeswalker, making things unmanageable for his Infest.
Mm-hmm.
Anti's disadvantaged in the first game, but games 2 through 5, he has something of an edge. He has more Infests, and so we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be Antti Malin and Tsuyoshi Ikeda in the finals.
That's your bracket now.
That's my bracket.
Your first bracket was not very accurate.
No, I did have Ikeda coming through.
Fair.
That's
not
about
the finals,
it.
Though.
That's about it.
Yeah, there were some surprising quarterfinal results, but
I mean, you have to assume that in a bracket that has Kenji in one bracket, Karsten in one bracket, Paulo in another bracket, and Asahara in another bracket. Some of those guys are going to come through.
But no. It's interesting. You talk about Park versus Ikeda, and Park's 5-color control deck playing Rox Warmonk. Sort of famously, this is sort of the hallmark card that Nassif made the change. Kitchen Fink's gone. Rox Warmonk in. The idea being people are playing so many cards that are just specifically anti-Kitchen Finks. Magma Spray on that guy's really annoying. Rox Warmonk, like your line, it's more persistent life gain, despite not having persist. But now against Ikeda, Flame Javelin actually can take down a 4 toughness creature.
Oh, absolutely.
So Ikeda's actually better set up against Rox Warmonk. Does Ikeda have Magma Spray, though? I feel like after all of that jockeying for position, right, this is what it comes down to. All of that playtesting is like, well, we get this matchup, there's this card and this card. Like, if Ikeda doesn't have Magma Spray, it would be really ironic that they audibled into a card that's worse when, the 10 grand is on the line. But he's got 4 Magma Spray. And 4 Flame Javelin and 4 Flame Javelin. So they probably are better off with the Rox Warmonk.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's the biggest distinguishing factor in this control deck.
You're just going to Magma Spray the Kitchen Finks out of the way and just keep on coming with your Figures of Destiny and whatever else.
So that actually looks reasonable here. Like, this is not a great matchup for the control deck, but given that you're going to play control,
you've certainly put yourself in the position
would rather have Rox Warmonk
to have
Kitchen Finks, right?
The card you wanted for this matchup.
Right, and I think that's right. You would rather have a Warmonk here than a Kitchen Fink.
Sure.
You'd rather be playing against a different deck, maybe.
Or you'd rather he just didn't have Magma Spray.
So you like Ikeda?
I do. It's funny. We did just before States. We did a mock tournament. We played a version of Lightning Beatdown, and it was a pretty bad version.
Okay.
It was pretty bad. It was just like pulled off of some list somewhere and proxied it up and played in this mock tournament.
For the Japanese Friday Night Magic?
Something. I'm not even sure where it came from.
That could have been Togoshi Fujita.
And it just it just ran the table. Wow. And it just ran the table, and it was
This
just...
is not a deck I've heard a lot about, though. It's not getting a lot of coverage.
People have been talking about it for, since States. It's been surging. It's essentially a mono red deck with some black for hand disruption, in the sense of lightning. But I mean, it's very much a very traditional red deck wins in a lot of ways. Figure of Destiny is your one drop.
It's a good one.
And the mana is so sort of fluid that it's not like you're like, I'm building this red deck and I have to accommodate all these black cards. It's pretty easy to get the black. The black's pretty much free. So.
Where does that rank in Standard? It wasn't that popular, right?
No, it hasn't been that popular. But it's been doing well. It's good against fairies. It's good against 5-color control, which is really, what more could you ask of a deck?
So why isn't it more played? I mean, it was less than 5%.
It's funny. I think people are just kind of it's the stigma of red. I think people are sometimes embarrassed to play red decks.
Funny.
I remember talking to one player who's going to a pro tour, and he's like, I have this red deck. I think he was going to Berlin, and he said, I have this red deck. I think it's really good, but he's like, it's my first pro tour. I don't know if I want to be seen at my first pro tour playing red. I want people to take me seriously. Red has a little bit of a, it's the scarlet letter.
Yeah. Yeah, Zoo's got the same thing going on in Extended, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're like, you shuffled up Zoo. I guess you didn't practice.
Right.
It's funny. Paulo played Zoo to his number one seed in the tournament. I talked to Paulo about the Zoo deck, and first of all, Paulo clearly not embarrassed. He's just like, here I am. I'm playing Zoo. This is what I think gives me the best chance to win. So whatever.
If you stumble, I will crush you.
Well, the interesting thing, Paulo's take on it was, I'm convinced, says Pablo, I'm convinced there's a better deck out there. Something is better than this, but I don't know what it is. Like, he looked. The format is so big, there's so many cards, you can clearly build something that's better than Zoo, but he did a bunch of work for Berlin, and he couldn't find anything that was consistently better than Zoo. He did a bunch more work for this tournament. He didn't just coast on his Berlin deck. He's like, he did a bunch more work, couldn't find anything that he thought was actually better against the field than Zoo. So he's like, I'm not saying this is the best deck in any sort of objective sense,
sure,
but gives me the best chance to win.
Just to give you an idea of what someone else thinks might be the best deck, I when I came back from lunch, go open up the computer, chatting with people, obviously all the New Yorkers, Jamie Park lives in the city, drafts at John's, he's friends with everybody, everyone back home is rooting for him, very keenly interested in what's going on. Came back, Zvi Moshowitz was online, and he said, listen, I wanted to tell you, there's a lot of static on the deck text and stuff, on the non-live content that's playing in between the matches.
Okay.
He says, much like you hear in non-elf extended decks. He's like, I don't understand why people wouldn't just play the best deck. He said, the elf deck is the best deck. This is the deck people should be playing. And these players are doing it a disservice to not play it. Now, Sam Black just wandered by, Sam has won 2 matches all weekend. With extended elves, he went.
To be clear, we saw one of those.
Four matches.
We saw one of those right before lunch. Defeating Masashio Iso to send Team USA to the finals. That was his second win on the weekend.
No, it was his 4th win. He just corrected me from through the window.
Oh, okay.
I may have gotten some faulty intel from Jacobs.
No, the intel was 06 on the extended day with that deck. Is it not 06? 141.
Okay.
141.
But
still, Sam has not had a ton of success with the elf deck.
Right.
I mean, it did put 3 people into the top 9, but or 3 people into the top 8, and then fairies put 3 people into the top 9.
Right. I like the fairies. I like Gabe Nassif's fairy deck a lot.
Yeah, I'm not convinced elves is the best deck. It's the most powerful deck. It's the most broken deck. It's the most degenerate deck, but it's beatable. So I mean, the metagaming is relevant.
Right.
Like if you're gonna play elves, you have to understand how to play it to beat what everybody else is bringing to the table against you. But okay, I sort of see Zvi's point. Anyway, we digressed a little bit.
Yes, of course. Sorry about that.
But so Zvi's theory was, why don't people just play?
He's saying if he was here, he would clearly have played elves. He'd play fairies in standard. He'd play elves in extended. Just play the best decks.
And LSV's big revelation, right?
Yeah.
Like why is Luis all of a sudden starting to win tournament, top 16? He's like, well, I stopped playing bad decks.
Yeah. Well, not even that he was playing bad decks. He just started playing really good decks. He started playing the best decks and stopped trying to be too cute. I guess too cute to overthink the format.
Right. That's the same thing. The guy who's afraid to play red, right?
Right. Absolutely.
I think it's funny. I think that's true of red aggro and standard. I think another deck that's very true of is the all-in red deck in extended.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people say that to me.
No one is proud of their all-in red deck. I mean, if you,
Rashad Miller is very proud of his all-in red deck.
but it's like with it's like this goofy smile. Like I don't know. People, I definitely think there's a stigma attached to that deck as well. You're just going to try to get lucky.
And which is weird, because that seems to me like a deck that really just violates some fundamental expectations of the
There's some
format.
broken stuff going on there. I totally agree. It plays like a Type 1 deck.
Yeah. Like, is this the hand that can win? Yes? Great.
Yeah. And there was a 6-0. I mean, there was a 6-0 yesterday as well. So
Really?
Yeah, no, the extended undefeated decks are on the website right now. And,
Excellent.
there's only a couple of them, and one of them was an all-in red deck. I mean, it's weird because obviously that deck was not at the top of the Swiss. It wasn't playing the best players
I
playing
saw
for top
I
eight,
saw
but
some
still.
crazy extended decks in the PTQ.
Yeah, you got to tell that story.
So Ben Weinberg is playing round 4. He's 3-0. He's playing against another 3-0 player. He's playing Affinity. He mulls to 5. He's like pretty upset, but his 5-card hand is insane.
Okay.
And basically has the turn 4 kill. He ramps right into a Master of Ethereum.
Yeah, Affinity plays Master of Ethereum now, right?
Yeah,
That's
and
also
he's just like swing for the kill on turn 4, and his opponent's like Angel's Grace.
You can't die this turn.
Yeah, he's like, all right. I still have everything that I had last turn. Next turn, attack with everything. I was like, Angel's Grace. He's like, come on.
This is like 3-0.
Yeah, so he's like, I will definitely get this guy next turn. He's so close. And he doesn't get a next turn because his opponent plays his 6th mana source and Akroma's Vengeance is away. Everything on Ben's side of the table.
Crazy.
And Ben's like, okay, well, I still have this, like, Shrapnel Blast or something. I don't know what it was, but, he's like, I can get a land. And he plays a land and says go, and then the guy's like, Realm Razor.
I forgot about the Realm Razor part of the story.
Yeah, so that was
Did that guy top 8?
No, you know what? He didn't. Here's a little word of warning about the deck. If you say anything about it, it can't beat fairies ever.
Oh,
So
okay. It seems like a flaw.
It was a lot of fun. Apparently, also from the PTQ, there was a Affinity deck playing Favor of the Mighty.
Which
It's
one
an
is that?
enchantment from Lorwyn that is 1 W, and it says the creature with the greatest power has protection from all colors. So,
Put that on your Master of Ethereum. Hilarious.
yeah, he got in with a Master of Ethereum equipped with a cranial plating that couldn't be jump blocked.
All right, so these semifinals that are coming up, we've got some interesting decks. We've got some different decks. It is not the Sea of Fairies that was expected or predicted. It is 1 fairy deck, 1 Lightning Beatdown, 1 5-color control. And we'll be right back with coverage of the semifinals right after this. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome to the 2008 Magic the Gathering World Championships. I'm Randy Bueller. I'm here with Brian David Marshall, and it is time for the semifinals. On the left of your screen is Tsuyoshi Ikeda from Japan. On the right is Jamie Park of the United States. These guys won their quarterfinal matches early this morning. They are ready to fight it out. Tell us a little bit about the matchup, Brian.
So the matchup is a Tsuyoshi Fujita designed Lightning Beatdown deck in the hands of the Japanese player. It's a red-black deck. Plays a lot like Red Deck wins, some cheap creatures, followed up by some burn. I want to soften you up with my guys and then finish you off.
Sure.
He also has some extra disruption in the form of lightning, which is I get to do some damage to you, and you have to throw away some cards and make some decisions.
What about Jamie?
Flame Javelin's going to be a big card in this matchup.
Oh, sure. What about Jamie?
Jamie is definitely the scrappy underachiever in this top 8. He's playing the deck. It's a 5-color control deck that does not look like one you've seen to this point. They modified the deck with Rock's War Monks.
Sure. I mean, 5-color control has been running around this stand. Okay, Figure of Destiny from Ikeda Five-color control has been running around the standard format for a while. It's kind of a tier 2, right? It's not the fairy deck. It's not the boogeyman the format revolves around, but a lot of good players like to have a lot of options.
Yeah, a lot of the better players really like this deck, and they really like playing it. But the New York crew and the Seif and a handful of people who played this deck really ran afoul of it. It did not...
Here comes the card that has become the signature card for this deck, Rox Warmonk. Gabriel Nassif was really the mastermind. He was like, how do we tweak this archetype? They decided Kitchen Finks out and Rox Warmonk in. There's so many Magnus Graves running around the format, so many specifically anti-Kitchen Finks cards, they figured, we'll just run Rox Warmonk. Oh, but there's the Flame Javelin. And Akeda is one of the few decks that can actually dispatch that thing easily.
And this is what Jamie said when they were testing. He said, every time, we test, I tap out, I play a Rox Warmonk, he kills it, he just keeps on coming.
Jamie Park has been playing Magic forever. Both of these guys have, really. I don't think they both played on the Pro Tour back in the 90s. I believe Akeda was around back then as well.
Akeda's been around forever. I'm pretty sure he's actually Hall of Fame eligible.
That sounds right. Jamie, a member of Team Sped back when he was about 12, probably 15 more like, made the top 8 of Worlds in 1999. Sort of went away to college. Now he's got a sort of a life and a career and a job, but he finds himself in New York City and he's hanging out with the Magic crowd.
Yeah,
right?
he drafts at
He's
John's
one of the
all
regular
the time.
drafters at John Finkel's place.
One of the more vocal players on the local mailing list.
Yeah, totally into Magic right
and
now.
Totally psyched about Magic. He's been having a great year.
He has been.
Had a top 50 in Hollywood. Has been really just excited and sort of chaining his finishes together. And
all right.
Figure Destiny's getting bigger.
Yep. So Yoshi Akeda makes it a 2-2 and then taps 3 more to make it a 4-4. But Jamie had, as a response,
I believe that's a condemn.
22. So Jamie lets him pump the Figure of Destiny once, waits for him to commit the rest of his mana to try to turn it into a 4-4, condemn as a response. So Akeda gains 2 life, and the Figure of Destiny goes to the bottom of Sogoshi's library. I think Jamie's got to feel pretty good about untapping with 5 mana in play and 18 life and no creatures against him.
It doesn't look like he feels that good about it.
Well, he knows he's allegedly a big dog in this matchup.
Yes.
He was also alleged to be a giant dog
if you get to turn 5 and you're not already dead.
Right, exactly. Well, here's Siege Gang Commander. Now we're in Mother May I mode, right? Sounds like in over the lunch break, Jamie was playtesting this matchup. His circle of friends is ridiculous, right? At the Boat Hill Bar last night, we saw them testing, and it's John Finkel, it's Jelger Wiegersma, it's Gabriel Nassif, it's Mark Herberhold, like multiple Hall of Famers to be, helping him figure out how to beat this matchup. So he's playing over lunch. He spent a lunch break with Jelger Wiegersma playing this matchup, and
Jelger busted out the Sharpies, wrote the deck list out on the back of cards, and they started playing.
Okay, Jamie uses a cryptic command to stop Siege Gang Commander. Makes sense. So anyway, over lunch, Jelger 15, Jamie Park 1.
Oh my gosh.
He can't be feeling super optimistic about this matchup, but hey, he got in 16 games of playtesting. That's actually pretty good for, the 2 hours he's had.
That's much more than we normally see for a semifinal.
It's true. He must play faster off camera.
But at the same time, I mean, it's easy to say it's 15-1.
Yeah.
But
it's
it's Jelger. But also as you play a matchup, you start to figure stuff out. You gain a lot of knowledge.
Absolutely.
So you learn what traps not to fall into.
Totally agree. I mean, I certainly know when I was.
Here comes the Guido encampment.
Yeah. Certainly know when I was playtesting back in the day. Practice was about sort of making a bunch of mistakes. I was always a very experiential learner, right? I wanted to just put myself into situations and sort of try this, try that, figure things out, so that when it counted, it doesn't matter how many times you lost in playtesting. Now you know what the right decision is, and you maximize your chances. All right, get to encampment. Finally gets a couple damage in. I believe that's the first damage.
And here comes a Cloud Thresher.
Take 1.
Wow.
And then I take 3 total, so I go 13.
He waited for end step for that?
20?
No, I think he's blocking a Guido encampment.
He's at 16 though. No, he did that
end
step.
turn. Okay.
Yeah, he left his mana up in case Akeda had any more main phase spells. So yeah, he declined the opportunity to pick off to get to encampment, but crunch.
Go.
That's how he won the first game in the quarterfinals against Paulo. Just giant Cloud Thresher. Like, summon this man at instant speed, and then, Akeda scoops them up. Wow. Jamie Park takes a blisteringly fast 1-0 lead. Tsuyoshi Ikeda just scoops him up in the face of Cloud Thresher.
Wasn't Tsuyoshi a full 20?
Well, he got hit once. He was at like 14. He got Hurricane once. And he's just like, what's he going to do? This Cloud Thresher's what, 5'5", 6'6"?
Maybe make some chump blockers and throw some burn spells. I don't know. Fight?
Jamie's at 16. I agree. It was a quick scoop. That was I have a less than 2% chance to win this game. Most people will cash in that, but at some level, if Ikeda's been around long enough, he may actually understand his own psyche.
Sure.
Does he want to spend the next 10 minutes agonizingly trying to eke out a 0.4% chance of victory? He might be better off just shuffling up and staying kind of happy-go-lucky, shrugging it off, and moving on to the next game.
Right. By the way, you can see on our program feed, the Player of the Year, doing a little coverage for the Japanese Japanese side of MagicTheGathering.com.
That is Shuhei Nakamura and Toten Tai looking over the other match right now, which is still in game one. Shuhei helping out with the coverage. Guy loves Magic.
He really does.
I mean, there's a lot of that. You see a lot of that around here. Tomohiro Saito, I saw him in the middle of day 2 or something. A bunch of players are sitting around talking and looking at Saito. Saito was over at the dealer table sifting through a box of rares for $1. He's just looking for bargains. He's actually starting up a card distribution business. He's starting a card shop.
Yeah, with Tomohiro Kaji, his teammate from the team that won Pro Tour Charleston.
Right. So this guy just loves Magic. They're all Magic all the time. What am I going to do?
There's a little bit of a rivalry with Saito and Shuhei about who loves Magic more.
Who do you think loves Magic more? I can put you on the spot?
I think Shuhei seems to have more fun playing Magic. I think Saito's is more of a manic, obsessive love. Bicycles by, Magic's house at night.
Shuhei will occasionally go to the movies.
Yeah. Shuhei talks nice, calls on the phone, sends a note. But, Saito played Magic this year. On every single weekend it was possible to play in a premier event.
Really?
He played. The only Grand Prix he missed this year were conflicting Grand Prix.
Wow. That's pretty remarkable. And next year, that's not possible, right? You can go to all 19 Grand Prix.
He was very excited about it. He felt that rule had been put in for him.
That's the Saito rule?
That's the Saito rule.
It's the Saito rule. It sounds like it is the Saito rule. Shuhei skipped a couple, right?
I believe so,
some weekends where Shuhei did not. Shuhei, however, did have the better year. Yeah. Starting back in Stuttgart in late December, he won the first Grand Prix of the year.
Yeah, he just came right
wire to wire, didn't he?
Yeah, it's funny. We had this conversation. Well, he's the Player of the Year leader after one event. and interestingly, that ended up turning out to be
true. He didn't go wire to wire, right? Finkel probably had him after KL.
Yes, that was the first Pro Tour
25 points. Yeah. I don't think Shuhei had 25 by KL. So GPLA will tell us who the early leader.
It's like winning the first challenge on Top Chef. Okay. That person always goes on to win the whole season, almost always.
So Shuhei Nakamura is Player of the Year. We also now know that Rookie of the Year is pretty straightforward. Playing on the back table, we've got Hannes Karem, the Estonian national champion, playing against Antti Malin from Finland. If Karem wins that match and wins the next one, he is the Rookie of the Year.
And there's nothing Aaron Nicastri can do about it.
Correct. At this point, Karem only gets Rookie of the Year if he is also the world champion. Oh, by the way, if he wins this match and wins the next one, he's also the world champion.
We call that the Julian Naughton rule.
I suppose so. Julian Naughton did exactly that thing. Wins Worlds, collects the Rookie of the Year title, oh, by the way.
Went on to be a pretty formidable player.
Absolutely. Yeah, Karem could pull off a Julian Naughton here. But he has to fully win the finals. If he loses the finals, Nicastri beats him by a single point.
Wow.
All right. Jamie Park and Tsuyoshi Ikeda have shuffled up. Park took a Game 1 lead. Now we get a look at Jamie's hand. Looks like a keeper. A couple lands. I think I saw 2 lands. Yeah. Condemn. Yeah, he's going to keep that. Is that Bitter Blossom queued up for Tsuyoshi Ikeda? Bitter Blossom has had an interesting weekend. You were mentioning this during the quarterfinals. The fairy decks are playing less and less of it, and the other decks are adding more and more of it.
To be fair, the standard fairy decks tend to just play 4 of them.
Sure. And there's turn 2 Bitter Blossom from Tsuyoshi Ikeda. Yeah, Bitter Blossom making its way out of the extended decks. They tended to go mono blue or maybe put the blossoms in the sideboard.
Yeah.
But you see, the black-white
Or
Heights
not
deck.
even play them in some cases.
Sure. In Standard, you see this deck has got access to Bitter Blossom. The black-white tokens deck, we've been calling it black-white Heights. Because really, at the end of the day, there's a lot of those sort of, I'm white, I've got Windbreast Heights, I've got Spectral Procession,
and
then
they have synergies
something.
that feed into
maybe
each other,
black,
right?
maybe red. Oh. Meanwhile, quick update from the back table. 1-0, Hannes Karem, the Estonian champ, cast Unmake on Malin's only fairy. As a response to Mistbind click. Ouch.
Yeah, Hannes said the one edge he has in that matchup is that there are no Scion of Unas in Anti-Malin's list. So there's definitely some stuff that he's at a disadvantage about, particularly for infests after board.
Here comes Condemn. So that was
Bogart Ramgang.
Yeah, Bogart Ramgang comes down with haste on turn 3, runs smack into a Condemn. 20 apiece.
Jamie still has to deal with this. Is going to ultimately deal with this Bitter Blossom.
Right. What's his plan against Bitter Blossom?
I tend to think it's going to be. It might be to counter something, bounce it.
Well, here's
try to counter it back on the way down, or race it with life gain.
Right. One of his charms has a disenchant ability. Right?
And does he have the Esper Charm? Yes, he does. He has Esper Charm.
How many charms does he actually run?
He runs 2 Jun Charms and 3 Esper Charms.
Yeah, we actually saw him win a quarterfinal match with the giant growth ability from Jun Charm. Got an extra 1 a turn quicker thanks to that. 19.
And do we have a
Shriekmaw?
That's a little sideboard number from.
Sideboarded in Shriekmaw for this matchup?
I believe so. I don't think he's starting them. Yeah, no, he brought that in. He has 2 of those in the sideboard.
How many creatures does Jamie actually have?
Jamie is on 4 Mole Drifters, 4 Rocks Warmonk, 1 Una, 2 Cloud Threshers.
Shriekmaw is pretty good there. The Cloud Thresher is what he lost to in the first game, so just like, giant man, that's a problem for Akeda. Go.
The dreaded 4 mana from Jamie.
Yeah. He's going to have to deal with Bitter Blossom somehow.
Does it seem like Jamie has had a pronounced card flicking effect on the rest of the top 8? Like, I mean, people always flick their cards, but no one flicks cards more than Jamie. He seems to have infected everybody else.
I think it's worse now. It's just him. I think all the sound you're hearing is actually him.
Cards? 3.
Definitely one of the more hyperactive players around.
Very high energy.
2 everything.
Jun Charm wipes out the Bitter Blossom tokens.
What's up? Big Daddy Drifts.
Big Daddy Drifts.
Go 2.
Mole Drifter for full value. 2 cards and a 2/2 flyer. Incinerate. Sends that to the graveyard. Kata doesn't want 2/2 flying blockers around while he's trying to attack with 1/1s.
What did I get it wrong?
17.
Yeah. Oh, that's last turn. Yeah.
Looks like Akeda's put in Spiteful Visions.
What does that do?
That's going to not allow Jamie to gain life, and I believe it gives all creatures Wither.
Interesting.
Alright, so I draw 2 and I take 2?
No.
This is the...
That's what it is, right?
I'm confused, right. So this is each player draws a card at the beginning of their draw step, and then it deals 1 damage to them. So this is sort of the Howling Mine Underworld Dreams
Interesting.
combo card.
And they're even on life.
2.
It's a little. It doesn't prevent life gain, right?
No, this isn't that. I was confusing it with the other hybrid card that does
This
that.
seems a little bit risky to me.
Giving cards to the
Giving
control
cards
player.
to the control deck? It's like essentially it's you necro for a little bit. I paid mana, you get cards. I invested a card in this effect. I don't know about this play. I mean, I guess if you've got it in the sideboard, this is one of the matchups you would want it for.
I guess he just wants to draw instant speed burn and
Right.
send it firing off in Jamie's direction.
I mean, I guess Akeda does have more mana-efficient cards, right? Because those burn spells are cheaper than Jamie's counters. So threats versus answers thing going on. But, I mean, both Bitter Blossom and Spiteful Visions are both chipping away at Sayoshi's life total.
Right.
It's 14 to 15, right?
But, he just drew a flame javelin with the second card that turn.
Right.
So.
14 apiece. Well, assuming this token hits.
If you're Jamie, do you Esper Charm the Bitter Blossom or the Spiteful Visions?
Bitter Blossom, I think. Oh, there's Cloud Thresher. Wow. This is bad news for Akeda, right? It's not like he's got counters, so his tokens are going to die. Cloud Thresher is going to resolve. And the question becomes, can he kill the Giant Man? 13, 12.
Wow.
Yeah, Akeda's at 12, Park's at 13 now. And Jamie's got the board advantage. Talked about Akeda being Hall of Fame eligible. Jamie's got to be closing in on 100 points, right?
Yeah,
I mean, he's been around long enough to be eligible. I don't think he has 100 lifetime points yet, but he should be close by now.
I was going to check, but I think we can get someone on the sidelines to check for us there. Akeda's trying to figure this out. Do you remember Akeda's deck from Hollywood? He played the Rage Forger deck in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
To, I think, a top 24,
That was a cool
maybe
deck.
a top 16 finish. That was also a Fujita creation.
Of course it was. Yeah, Jamie has 101 points coming into this tournament. He became Hall of Fame eligible last event.
So he would be, maybe 99 was the first year he played on the Pro Tour.
I think 98, but in any case, he'll be on the next ballot. He gets to vote for the Hall of Fame now.
One more vote for Steve-O Mahoney Schwartz.
Oh, maybe. Lightning is what Akeda eventually decides to go for.
Seems like a
Damage,
pretty
so.
good hand for Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie deciding what 2 cards to discard. Cards. He actually does have an Esper Charm. We were talking about that. He's got his choice of targets. I would hit the Bitter Blossom. Sounds like Jamie's debut was PT Mites.
That's a 98. Right?
That was 97. That was my
97.
second Pro Tour for sure.
Wow.
So he would have been a year.
Mike Turian's first top 16, right?
Yep, I'm at 10. Land Pithing Needle is what Jamie decides to discard. Does take 3 damage as well.
Yes.
Lightning and Spiteful Vision seem to be at cross purposes other than dealing damage.
Yeah, I think that they have the same shared purpose, which is damage. But you're right. He's giving him cards. He's making him discard them. Certainly the discard aspect of Lightning is clearly offset by Spiteful Visions. I mean, I can certainly imagine this game playing out in a way where Spiteful Visions is good, but this game has not been that path.
No.
trying to figure out. He's got choices. And he's clearly going to attack. Remind me how big Cloud Thresher is exactly.
What's that?
How big is Cloud Thresher?
I know you're just thinking.
Ikeda knows what he's thinking.
What do you have?
He's a 7-7.
Anyway,
So it's 7-7. He can put Ikeda to 5,
Which then becomes 3.
which then becomes 3. Oh, he nails the Spiteful Visions. Esper charms the Spiteful Visions. Wow. Isn't Bitter Blossom scarier? I mean, Bitter Blossom will block Cloud Thresher. Does he have a way to kill a Fairy Rogue Soken?
Judge, maybe you think to draw. Yeah. At the beginning of each player's draw step, first player draw card, he upkeep destroy this. Maybe I think keep to draw, no damage.
So, at the beginning of each player's draw step,
Or stack maybe to draw.
I thought, okay, is there an upkeep and then a draw
Yeah,
step?
yeah.
Okay, I did it during the
Upkeep, yeah.
Okay, so you drew a card during the upkeep instead of the draw step? No. On my upkeep, before that triggered, before my draw step,
Okay.
I killed that. He's asking me
Ikeda is
maybe I draw
desperately
2 cards
fishing.
and don't.
Yeah,
take
because he
damage.
killed it during the upkeep. It's not in play during the draw step.
Yeah, he only one
I
card?
screwed up then.
2 cards.
I messed up. I didn't put it on the stack.
What is Jamie saying?
No problem?
So
How many cards
what
does
exactly
Jamie draw?
No, he broken upkeep.
Ikeda is hoping Jamie drew an extra card.
I
To be
think,
clear, that's
he-
what's going on here.
Well, he may want him low enough that he can burn
But
him
he
out.
only one draw card. I think one more draw and no damage. I think stack on the draw 2 card up beginning of each player's draw step.
So when
Jamie
you
drew
play
one
the
card.
He play upkeep.
I did on my upkeep.
Yeah,
So you'll
maybe one more draw.
No, he draws one card.
One card only.
Right, one card only.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ikeda's trying to give Jamie an extra card.
Without taking a damage.
Should've
That's
drawn
bizarre.
I messed up.
That is bizarre. That does sound like what was going on there. Ikeda was trying to give Jamie an extra card there. Nice sportsmanlike play.
No problem.
That's how he thought it worked.
You drew a 5?
Yeah.
So Jamie really didn't want to take another point of damage.
Well, I think he's worried about.
Yeah, I mean, a barrage of direct damage spells. Jamie doesn't really have permission left in his hand, right? I'm worried about how he's going to win the game next turn, though. I mean, having Bitter Blossom around to block makes it tricky.
But if he goes to 9, he loses to 3 Incinerate. So
Yes, he does. Also loses. If he gives Ikeda an extra turn, I think that's worse. One, two, three, four.
Harness.
Yep. Another Spiteful Visions. That's interesting. Ikeda really wants to commit suicide. That's what I figured out here.
Okay.
Thank you.
thank you.
Ikeda's only got like one card in his hand, right? See, if Jamie had Esper Bitter Blossom, he wins.
So he blocks. So Ikeda's going to block, throw some burn spell at you, untap, and hope to draw 2 burn spells.
Basically. I think.
Okay, so let's get this right. Okay, so at the beginning I draw a card. Draw 1. All right, I go to 9.
Yeah.
Does Jamie have another plan for getting
Maybe
through the
he's
last
trying
image?
to bluff Jamie into keeping his Cloud Thresher back so he doesn't go to 8 and lose to 2 Flame Javelins. He only has 1 card in hand, right?
Right.
So Jamie has to just attack here. Or if he can.
Well, Jamie's attacking. He'd love to get rid of the token. Which is why, like I said, I think he should have... I would have asked for Charm Bitter Blossom. I'm like, okay, fine, you get 1 more card, but Ikeda's going to turn out... It turns out he's going to get 2 more cards because he just gets that extra turn. Of course, if Jamie has a Cryptic Command or something, they can tap that token. Oh, there it is. Cryptic Command. That should do it. Tap your guy, and Jamie Park is up 2 games to 0. Wow. This has apparently been the year of the Americans. We saw Team USA versus Team Japan in the semis. Japan was supposed to win, but Sam Black pulled out a win with its extended deck, and USA is through to the finals. Here we see Jamie Park, supposed to be a big dog against the Lightning Beatdown deck that's set up to beat Control. But the Americans have won every Pro Tour this year. There's 2 titles left to hand out, and they're still in play for Team USA. It's been a long time coming. I mean, there was a stretch of 5 years where you'd have... I remember there was one Worlds where there was 1 American in the top 32. Right. Like Tim Ayton in 27th was the best finishing American at, I think, Worlds in San Francisco. That's where Julian pulled off the Rookie of the Year, Player of the Year, or World Champion Rookie of the Year double. And now here we have only 1 American in the top 8, but there were Americans in 9th and 10th
9th,
and
10th, 11th, and 13th.
9th, 10th, 11th, 13th, something like that. LSV put up another top 8, or top 16. LSV coming off the 2 wins. So.
Dave Irvine, a Florida player who's been living in New York, another player. He finished 9th on tiebreakers.
Right.
Played. I don't know if you got a chance to watch him play at all this weekend, but
only a little bit.
He really played some terrific looking Magic. All weekend long. He just played super tight. Mm-hmm. He was fun to watch.
The little bit that I did see, he seemed to have his own take on a lot of decks.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, this is not a guy who's just like took the deck off the net or got handed the deck by his famous friends. This is a guy who knows the format and sort of customized and tweaked and has his own take and his own cards. And his lists look tight. They look good.
And he used that list of top 8 the Philadelphia 5K the weekend before.
Right. So yeah, you've got definitely this next generation of American Magic players. Just got a little bit of the previous generation, and like a Jamie Park.
Jamie's barely old enough to be of the previous generation.
He doesn't seem like he belongs to the old fogey crowd.
No.
You would think of like guys like that, but somehow he is. And on the other hand, you've got the old fogies that, like Steve Sadin and Josh Ravitz, that somehow do look like they belong, despite being younger than Jamie Park.
Yes, they've been afflicted with Beckeritis.
Beckeritis is contagious all the way from Philadelphia. I mean, it definitely seems like a lot of them.
Most people don't know, but John Becker's only 17.
All right, quick shuffle up. Time for game 3. Can Jamie Park complete the sweep?
Yeah, he's won more games than he won in playtesting now.
That's okay. If he wins this match, he's got as many wins in Standard as he had on the Standard day. He went 2-3-1. To win this tournament, he needs more wins today than he had on Thursday.
He's already starting with some card advantage in game 3. Sushi Akita's going down to 6 cards.
Well, Hannes Karem and Auntie Malin are in game 2, playing on the other table.
Is that what it is?
So what is it Jamie does for a living now?
Jamie works with Pakula and those guys.
So this is Susquehanna Investing?
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting the way that company has sought out Magic players.
Absolutely.
Right. They've gone out of their way to say this company trades options on Wall Street. This is, it's New York. You're trading options on Wall Street. Who are the people that this company wants to hire to sort of give the big salaries? You're the guys we want deciding, when to buy, when to sell.
You have a lot of Magic players working there.
Right. And the company's done that systematically, right? Was there one Magic player they started with that then worked out well, or did they go into it looking for gamers?
I feel like it might have been Pakula.
I think that's true. I'm thinking you might know the more details.
I don't actually.
I think that the way I understand
We
the
only
story-
talk about Magic.
Oh, you never talk about work? This is actually a really cool story, though, if you think about it. Like, Susquehanna Investing, one of the big sort of Wall Street options trading firms, they hire Chris Bakula, and they're like, wow, these gamers know what they're doing. These guys know when to buy, when to sell, how to min-max the system, how to take advantage of the rules, and, and win, right? It's
Right.
just a game.
They've
at the end
spent
of the
their
day.
childhood developing a skill set that's actually very valuable in the
Turn them
adult
loose on
world.
Wall Street, trading options, right? It's definitely Magic has proved as a training ground for those skills. So they hired Pakula, and now since then they've hired
Chris Manning,
Igor Freeman works
Igor
for them,
Freeman,
right? Jamie Park.
a couple of players that are not necessarily Nick Neary, who's not as widely known. There's a lot of Magic players over there, even not necessarily all.
Thank you.
No, it sounds like Jamie's going to mulligan too. Hey, Candace says thank you.
Thank you.
I don't like drawing extra cards.
So this options trading company decides. The way I heard the story from Pakula, when Pakula first started working there, they actually handed out poker training books to all their new hires, and they had like company poker games because they figured poker would actually train people to be good options traders. They're like the same skills that you need in poker, and then it turns out Magic is even better. So like now they've stopped looking for poker players and they're looking specifically for Magic players because it's this is the ultimate game. This is where the best gamers in the world go. Okay, fine. Maybe you can't win as much money as at the World Series of Poker, but if you're looking to find the skills, who are the gamers that can win on Wall Street? You're looking at them.
No, it's made, and they've actually actively recruited at Magic events.
I know. No, I haven't really heard this story told very much. I think it's a really fascinating story on sort of the relationship between Magic and the quote-unquote real world.
So I think Pakula was brought on by a different Magic player, actually. I don't think he was the first one, and
Okay.
I don't think Manning works there anymore. But yeah,
Same base.
just a little turnover.
Do we know who the first Magic player was?
I
Trailblazed?
I'll take one card.
All right, both players look like they're keeping 6. Pair of get-to encampments for Sayoshi Ikeda. Oh, and an update from the back table. Hannes Kerem leads 2-0 versus Antti Malin. Sower of Temptation stealing Cloudgoat Ranger was not enough. The Kithkin deck from Hannes Kerem managed to win anyway. And there's another condemn from Jamie.
You go 23?
Yeah.
So down goes Ram Gang. Three lands apiece. Kata smashes with Get-To encampment. But it's at another condemn.
24?
Looks like another condemn. That's a pretty good one, too.
Them as land destruction.
Yeah. Well, Kata's got more land, but again, Jamie untapping on turn 4 with no permanents facing him and 20 life points to play with. We could actually see a very improbable sweep here.
Cards.
Sounds like the Rock Swarm Monk is about to hit the
Does
table.
sound like Roxburgh.
Those were hard to find on Wednesday. There were enough people looking for Rock Swarm Monks. I don't think people were actually holding them out of drafts as playable uncommons necessarily. I got a couple text messages looking for those on Wednesday night.
Here's Bitter Blossom. At least everybody's got shards packed, right? You get desperate, you just start cracking them, right? It's not like a Lorwyn card.
Yeah, it was a story. I remember Martin Juza was buying 10th edition packs, I think, to get Essence Wardens.
Oh, funny.
Cards. 3?
All right. Well, Jamie does have Roxmore Monks in play. He's on tap. Now he can potentially defend it. Things looking really good. Warmonk swings in. You start gaining life against the black-red aggro deck. This is good news. I mean, he's hyperactive normally. You could start to see the bounce as that spot in the World's Finals. Pretty close. Bitter Blossom on the other side, but
20.
Bitter Blossom chipping away at Ikeda. Rox Warmonk chipping away at Ikeda. Ikeda's only got, what, 2 cards in his hand?
Yeah, he's down to 2 cards at this point. Good looking trio of cards for Jamie.
We get a couple interesting things. 2 land and a Flame Javelin in Ikeda's hand. Jamie's got Cryptic Command, Remove Soul. So Ikeda would love to Flame Javelin away the Warmonk, but he's looking over at 5 untapped lands and hoping against hope that Jamie will tap out. Maybe he's going to have to just go for it, cross his fingers and hope, and he's going to run into Cryptic Command. Yep, so he's got to go for it. Here's Flame Javelin.
He does it during Jamie's upkeep, so if Jamie does have the Cryptic Command, he has to tap all his mana.
Great. But this is a pretty easy call, right? I think you clearly counter this. Rox Warmonk is so powerful in this matchup. I think it's counter draw card, right? I mean, counter bounce a token is the other option.
Counter bounce Bitter Blossom?
But he could bounce, but he's not going to be able to counter it on the way back down.
Yeah.
I mean, Jamie is holding. One of the other cards in Jamie's hand is Pyroclasm, so he can actually clear out a swath of tokens. Like, it might be tempting to bounce the token, except he's going to Pyroclasm away the token for a couple turns. Anyway, I think draw a card. I think counter draw. Hopefully, you've got a land to have Remove Soul up. But I definitely think counter. Couple interesting things queued up for the break, by the way, after these individual semifinals are done. As we get ready for the team finals, we've got a couple of nice features. There's a bunch of Conflux art which has been on display here, and we'll be telling people exactly which art matches to which name and start to preview the set that's coming out early next year. It's like February 6th. Jamie does indeed decide to cast Cryptic Command.
Counter and draw card.
Counter and draw a card. All right, this was all during Jamie's upkeep.
Draw this.
So he draws, drew his second Rox Warmonk. Smashes with the first one. Ikeda, yeah, takes the damage. I think that's what he's got to do.
17.
So the other thing we've got queued up for the break, in addition to the Conflux art reveal, is a conversation, I think it's an interview you filmed on Planeswalkers with Aaron Forsythe. Kind of a bit of a reveal this weekend on the Planeswalker front as well.
People seem very excited about Nicol Bolas Planeswalker.
Nicol Bolas Planeswalker. That is very cool.
Aaron said it was going to be the most expensive Planeswalker. He didn't say if that meant converted mana cost or if it would be like, $40.
Probably he meant all of the above. All right. Rox Warmonk did its duty. Jamie did not have a land, so he's tapped down to 1. Ikeda's looking at the board.
Gets in for 1.
25.
But, yeah, Jamie's pretty far out of reach at this point. Spiteful Visions?
Spiteful Visions comes down again.
You can gain life still?
Can we still gain life?
This is other enchantment.
Okay. Oh, this is the other enchantment.
Vision.
Oh, that is Visions. Okay, he's confused.
Jamie's confused. Jamie's living in fear of I can't gain life.
Well, that one seems like it would be
better.
Much better in this matchup.
Yes.
Okay.
All the Bitter Blossom tokens would have Wither.
Yeah.
Draw. Draw again.
It's just like Jamie's got Necro Ivory Tower in play. It's like he gains 3 every turn from Rock's Warmunk. He draws extra cards. This enchantment seems better for Jamie than Sayoshi.
I agree. I don't like it. I don't like this sideboard plan for against Jamie.
Warmunk comes over. Takeda throws a token in front of it. 26. Jamie's up to 26. Yeah, oh, by the way, Jamie's holding Cruel Ultimatum. And down comes Rock's Warmunk number 2.
Rock's Warmunk is like, look, we've been waiting all weekend.
This is how Gabe drew it up. Gabriel Nassif, everyone doubted him. Thursday, everybody doubted Nassif. But he hands Jamie the extended deck that gets Jamie here. And lo and behold, in the semifinals, Rock's Warmunk looks awesome. Rock's Warmunk looks amazing here.
I don't know if there's enough burn in Ikeda's deck for him to find a way to win here.
Wow, did you imagine Jamie Park with the matchups he had in the top 8s playing for the finals? He's up 2-0. It's 3 out of 5, so this game seems hard to lose from this position. Double Rock's Warmunk against a black-red aggro deck with 1 card in his hand. Cloud Thresher. Wow. Cloud Thresher main phase. Get those tokens out of the way. I want to start softening up. Rock's Warmunk straight to the body. You take 2, and you take 6 more. I'll gain 6.
You'll lose 2 more on your upkeep.
Wow.
He conceded game 1, but he doesn't concede here?
Oh, this is the whole match. Get to encampment. Shove blocks a Warmunk.
You take 3. 8, I go to 28.
Wow. What a blowout.
Pick up 5.
Yeah, Kata takes 1 from Bitter Blossom. Takes 1 from Vision. His hand is land. There's the hand.
Jamie Park is through.
Jamie Park.
What an underdog performance here.
The
terrible matchups.
Bad draws. Drew a lot of lands.
All right. Jamie Park is through to the finals, but who's he going to be playing against? Will it be Hannes Karem, the Estonian national champion, or will it be Antti Malin from Finland? Malin is down 2-0. Hannes Karem and his Kifkin deck have rattled off 2 victories already. Karem only has to win 1 of these next 3, and it'll be Kifkin playing against the 5-color control in the finals. Or Antti Malin has got the Boogeyman. He's got the Fairies deck. He's got the last copy of the Fairies deck. All right, sounds like we're going to move Antti and Hannes up to the front table so we can get the overhead camera and just get a better view for those of you at home on the internet. Whew. Jamie and Sayoshi Ikeda will move out, take off the mics. Jamie's got some time. He's got the team finals, and by the way, that's a huge advantage for him. Yeah, like being done, he's got a squadron of Hall of Famers waiting off stage to swoop in with a Sharpie and a pile of Magic card backs. Put together, maybe they've already put together the Kifkin deck and the Fairy deck. They've probably got a Fairy deck that's close enough already, right? Jamie, if he wants to, can spend the next hour or 2 playtesting a finals matchup against Jelger Vigersma,
Gabriel Nassif,
John Finkel,
etc. Yeah, that's a huge advantage for him. And
all right.
We talked about this as we were coming in, even though he lost like 15-1.
Yeah, he lost 15-1 against Jelger over lunch. That was the story.
But you talked about that sort of experiential component where you're like, okay, well, this is what matters. These are the important cards. Mm-hmm. This is how I lost that game. This is how I lost that game. Oh, I shouldn't have tapped out there.
Right. Yeah,
and Jamie played that match very confidently. I mean,
I agree.
He,
No, it was
he,
good
he
magic.
seemed to know exactly what decisions he needed to make.
Mhm.
We may have disagreed on the one disenchanting the disenchanting
Bitter
visions of
Blossom.
Bitter Blossom. But I mean, he had a plan and he enacted it all the way through.
It's true. All right, so Jamie Park is through to the finals. Do you think it'll be? I mean, how does he match up against either a Kifkin deck or a Fairies deck?
Well, I'm looking at the.
And it looks like the Kifkin deck, right?
It
If
looks
the
like it's
Karem
gonna be
matchup
the
seems like
Kifkin
the most
list.
likely one.
I mean, it doesn't seem like a great matchup. Again, the Kifkin deck just seems.
What is 5-color control good at then? How can every matchup be a bad matchup? Something's.
I mean, this deck just comes out so quickly.
Yeah, but White Weenie versus Control, isn't this just like?
Again, the White Weenie deck,
15-year-old
the White
matchup?
Weenie decks have really just changed.
Well, they've got card advantage because they've got Windbrisk Heights and they've got Ranger of Eos. There are definitely some card
They've
advantage.
got,
White
they've
Wenie's
got
a
this
little game
incredibly
to make
efficient piece of removal in on making this deck.
it. Okay.
They just have instant speed removal for things. They have the ability to play spells that you might not expect at instant speed during combat off of Windbrisk Heights.
Sure.
He's got, Forged Tenders for the Pyroclasms post board.
Yeah, I confess I haven't played tested 5-color control versus White Weenie in the last couple of years, but I gotta believe it's a better matchup for control than 5-color control against Black-Red Lightning Beatdown.
Yes, I think it is a better. I think it is a better matchup.
I also gotta imagine it's a better matchup than versus Paolo playing Fairies. Right? It seems like if those two were bad matchups, this one is at least not as bad.
He comes out very quick. If he gets into Johnny Goldmane, the stick again. We haven't seen Johnny show up yet.
This is another deck where Rox Warmonk is going to be really good, right? The 4 toughness means it can beat up a first striker, like a 2/2 first striker, even a 3/3 first striker, thanks to Wizensen.
So it's going to come down to
Rox Warmonk's 3/4 is very relevant.
Rox Warmonk versus Unmake is what we're looking at here, right?
Yeah, that sounds right. Well, it looks like the players are seated and just about ready, so we'll be right back with Hannes Karem versus Antti Malin. Here we are. Antti Malin kicks off with an island.
He's got an uphill climb ahead of him. He's down 2 games.
Yes. Okay. Figure of Destiny from Hannes Karem. Now, Karem playing both for the world title and also for the Rookie of the Year title. If he wins Worlds, he's also Rookie of the Year. If he loses either this match or the next one, then Aaron Nicastri will be Rookie of the Year. Taking a good look at Karem, he is the Estonian national champion. He has brought a pretty nice Kifkin deck to battle with him today. He's got the mid-game, sort of late game, can win an attrition war thanks to cards like Ranger of Eos, can win with cards like Windbrisk Heights. He's got Spectral Procession. He's got the ability to come out fast, and he's got the ability to recover and pick up some card advantage in the middle game. And Figure of Destiny is just like the one drop that these White Weenie decks have just always dreamed of. It comes out early, so you get a guy on the board,
And it gives you something to do with your
it
mana
also
every
gives you something to do with your mana and gives you a big threat later in the game.
19?
That was a pretty key play there. Wiz instead from Hannes Karem is exactly what he wants to resolve on turn 2, but Antti Malin had the remove soul. All right, Antti Malin looking at his options. Turn 3 with his fairy deck, and he says go. Looks like, he's got an Infest and an Agony Warp and a remove soul of the Spellstutter Sprite. Pretty good draw. He's just got to decide how he wants to play it. It's pretty interesting. He chose to remove soul the Wizensen despite having Infest in his hand. Does he have 2 black? I don't think he has 2 black.
No,
He does not have 2
his
black.
Mutavault Island Underground.
But it also has got to send a message to Karem that the coast is clear, right? Now here comes Knight of Meadowgreen. Do you remove soul again? Still doesn't have 2 black, so...
He's going to spell Stutter Sprite. He's going to activate
activates
Mutavault,
Mutavault,
spell Stutter Sprite for sure.
That makes sense. Now here's Windbrisk Height. So I see a Revelark, 2 lands, and a Revelark. 3 lands and a Revelark. So that Heights has a Revelark under it. Speaking of mid to late game card advantage
Right.
plays, I forgot about Revelark.
So, well, he has those in his sideboard. He brought them in, obviously, for this.
Oh, those are sideboarded?
Yeah. And he's not,
Okay.
he does not
That's
start
why I forgot about
sideboards.
it. So Malin untaps. He's got a Spellstutter Sprite and Mutavault. He's facing off against the Figure of Destiny.
What he doesn't have is Scion of Una in his deck, which is something that Hannes Karam said was a pretty big factor in this matchup. It made his unmakes relevant.
Interesting. Yeah, if all those fairies become untargetable, unmake is a lot worse.
And we heard a story about Mistbind Click championing the creature. There's no Scion of Una to protect it,
So the unmake was able
to blow him out.
Fourth land for Karem. Sends Figure of Destiny, makes it a 2/2, and goes all the way for 4/4. But wait, Agony War.
17.
Underground River does a point of damage, but Figure of Destiny is dispatched. Marlon gotta feel good. Again, 17 land. He's survived the first 5 turns of this game. 17 life still to play with.
Cards.
Go. Here comes a Johnny.
Okay.
And he resolves.
You're 20, and it's at.
He gains 2 life,
Yep, gains 2 life, picks up a loyalty counter.
goes to 5 loyalty.
Now, most people use a Johnny for the +1/+1 ability, right?
Yeah. I mean, certainly in these decks, I mean, you just get your weenies out of Infest range or out of Pyroclasm range.
But in this case, Karem doesn't actually have any weenies. So he's going to be using the life gain ability for now. Now, the ultimate may kick in this game, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Which is, he puts an avatar token into play with the power and toughness equal to your life token.
Karem's sitting on 20 life, so that would be one gigantic avatar token. Marlon not interested in seeing that. Sends the Spellstutter Sprite in toward a Johnny.
That's like gaining 2 life now, you know.
Right. 1, 2, 3, 4 for Ranger of Eos. Ranger of Eos has the potential to create 3 attackers, but no, remove Soul. Yeah, I think you clearly have to dispatch Ranger of Eos.
22.
Continues on the game life plan from Johnny, back up to 5. How many tokens for the ultimate?
6.
Cards in hand.
Now, there is bounce in Anti-Marlon's
Is it
deck.
good? Yes.
Cryptic Command could bounce that avatar token.
Oh, absolutely.
1 good card in hand.
I believe he can terror it. It's a white avatar.
Yeah.
I would be happy if I open it in a draft. Lanes?
Players talking about what card is the last card in Hannes Karem's hand.
Something he said he would be happy to open in a draft. That smells like Cloud Goat Ranger to me. There's a
Bitter Blossom. Anti-Marlon is still on 3 land, by the way.
16? 16, yeah.
He still doesn't have a second black man. He still can't cast the Infest in his hand. Hasn't needed to.
And then he attacked Hannes there? Did he let him, or did he drop the loyalty? Oh, no.
Ooh, Revelark. Okay. And it resolves.
24? Yes. Okay. And go.
Bitter Blossom gives Anti-Marlon a... $24 to $15.
1 card in hand.
Yeah. Melon's got a full grip here.
Which one is
He's
it?
only got 3 lands. Well, here comes the second Mutavault. And Sower of Temptation.
14?
That's basically the right answer to Revelark.
Of course.
Auntie's question is that 1 card in your hand unmake?
Spellstutter Sprite continues to try to keep the Johnny in check. Mullen had to tap out for that sower.
26.
Karem gains life to 26 and says go.
And 13.
Auntie Mullen now has Bitter Blossom, 2 Fairy Rogue tokens, Sower of Temptation, which has recruited Revelark over to his side of the table, and a Spellstutter Sprite. He's looking to cross at an Ajani and an opponent who's at 26 life. I suspect it's time to attack Ajani for real. Mullen was hinged on mana for a while. Alright, here's the split attack. Revelark and the Spellstutter Sprite both head for Ajani. That will send the Planeswalker packing. Meanwhile, 3 damage to Karem, knocking him to 23. Here's Mistbind Click. Picks up Champions the Spellstutter Sprite. Everything coming up in Auntie Mullen's favor right now. Oh, here's Figure of Destiny from Karem.
Attack.
Still 12 life left for Mullen.
Attacking for 11 here.
Infest would be good.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was.
I'm at 11.
Agony Warp dispatches the Figure, clearing a path so that Mutavault can join in the fun. Here comes Revelark, Mistbind Click, Sower of Temptation, Mutavault, Fairy Rogue, and Fairy Rogue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 14 damage. Karem now down to 11, facing lethal next turn. Oh, he's at 9. Facing lethal next turn.
Oh, I'm...
Looks like we're going to play at least one more game in this match. Here's Revelark, but I don't think that's good enough. Nine to 10.
Counts it up.
To you.
Smash! Black biggest guy.
No way
4,
from
6,
not
7, 8, 9.
Yep.
Yep, so alright, Auntie Mullen is on the board. This is now 2 games to 1 in favor of Hannes Karem.
Yeah.
Interestingly, at Pro Tour Yokohama, the one that Wafa Tapa won, Karem was apparently the highest finishing.
No, I think it was
Mullen. Mullen was the highest finishing white weenie player in 50th.
Better hope it wasn't Karem.
Yeah, it was like the
Submarine
rookie
is rookie of the year chances.
I'm being fed these stats in my ear. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Oh, Auntie Mullen, sure. Yeah, Mullen had a good run a couple of years ago. It was sort of like got to the train just barely this year. I think he had exactly the 20 points he needed to be playing this year.
He is definitely, for the last 2 seasons, chained together finish into finish into finish.
Right. And he's been around for a good couple of years now, putting up results, but always sort of scrapping to make sure he's qualified for the next event.
He's on the gravy train, but it's kind of an Indiana Jones kind of thing where he's sort of like his feet are gliding along the rails, holding on to the back of the train.
Down
He's excited about going to all the events next year.
Oh, sure. He's got 16 points from this event alone. He should be in good shape for next year.
Yeah, he came into this tournament hoping to get to enough pro points to get 1 Pro Tour for next year.
Oh, really? He didn't even have the 15 yet?
I don't believe he did.
Well, he should be good now. Mullen with one previous top 8. It was Pro Tour London.
Yep.
Karem, a rookie. First Sunday finish.
Got a little bit of tournament
Second Pro Tour.
practice under his belt when he went to winning Estonian Nationals.
Yes, he is the Estonian national champ. Pro points on nationals have helped him be relevant to the Rookie of the Year race. He comes into this. He still has to win the entire tournament if he wants to be Rookie of the Year, but it's only his second Pro Tour, so it's almost entirely on the back of this weekend if he pulls it off. At 12 points coming in. Karem does now get to play first in this game, and if he loses it, he'll be playing first in Game 5 as well. So, got to feel like Karem has the edge. He's up 2-1. Just has to win one of the next 2. He'll get to go first both games if both games happen.
On the draw, those removed souls on the Wiesent are a little.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little
I
more
think
clumsy.
the second game would have played out totally differently if Karem had been on the play. So after this match is over, we're going to watch the team finals. It'll be Team USA versus Team Australia. We'll get to look at Rookie of the Year hopeful Aaron DeCastri. We'll get to look once again at a pretty solid American squad across the board. All 3 have had success. Between now and then, we got some reveals for you. Conflux art has been on display here in the hall. We're going to pair the art with the names of those cards and talk a little bit about Nicol Bolas Planeswalker. So, some two good features queued up for you after this match is over. Meanwhile, we'll set up the tables and get ready to watch some team competition. Who do you like in that team finals?
I like Team USA.
Certainly, everyone expected them to do well. They did well. They were at the top of the standings pretty much the entire weekend. Seemed like 3 solid players, but this Australia squad, I mean, DeCastri came out, ran the table at 6-0 on day 1, had them in first place.
And they plowed through day 3.
Yeah, they did worse in the limited day, right? They kind of fell back in the pack. They were very middle of the package, like in the teens. But then they just charged up the standings.
And they made up all their ground in extended.
Right, and squeaked in fourth.
We had dismissed them probably
we thought we knew who the 4
2
were.
rounds previous.
Yeah, we thought the final 4 with 3 rounds to go in the tournament, it was clearly U.S., Japan, Brazil, and Malaysia. Terry So and his squad seemed to be in position, but Australia managed some sweeps at the end, got into a tie with Malaysia, edged them out on tiebreakers. But they have had success on both constructed days. It's a team-constructed event. They did not do as well in the team rounds, though. Did they play the U.S.?
Good luck.
Not sure if they played or not. No, they did not play the U.S. They beat Singapore, drew with Japan, lost to South Korea, lost to Denmark. Team USA, on the other hand, beat Mexico, beat South Africa, beat Ukraine, lost to Japan.
Which they have since avenged.
Avenged, absolutely. I keep. All right. Mullen keeps. Karem keeps. Karem leads with a turn 1 Figure of Destiny.
Secluded Glenn. No Eisenstein. Knight of the Metagray then? Yep.
Here's Bitter Blossom. I mean, I guess that is the draw the Fairy deck wants on turn 2, but it's a little scary, right? You're already getting hit for 4.
Now, if you're the white winning player, do you possibly play another card here?
Interesting.
Yeah.
14.
Apparently the answer is no.
Yep, I'm 14. I'm at 14.
The Bitter Blossom Infest synergy is not very good.
Yeah, but having Infest against White Weenie just is.
Yes, it's true. I'm just saying that he probably doesn't have it if he played.
Marlon appears to have a pretty saucy hand. I don't know how many lands he's got in it, but I think I saw 2 Sowers and an Infest. Oh, Mutavault, Agony Warp, Fairy Conclave. Wow, that hand is awesome. Seems like you go Fairy Conclave, playing Agony Warp. I guess you can also go Mutavault Infest.
Wait till he triple pumps the.
No, it just goes for the Infest. Yeah, I think I would have Agony Warp so you can do it as a response to Figure. Because Krem is probably going to pump Figure there, right? And then
Sure.
Agony Warp as a response. And now instead, full price Stalwart.
13?
Not the turn 4 that Karem wanted, I'm sure.
I think it's looking pretty good right now for Mullen to go to a game 5.
It does. Their last play, though, why not play your comes in and play tap land and Agony Warp as a response to... I don't know. I'm surprised he wouldn't be Infest. Maybe he's thinking about the Bitter Blossom. He doesn't want to kill too many of his fairies.
Right.
He's got that, get that anti-synergy moment out of the way. Drew an island, so he can go Island Sower. Yeah, the fact that he did not have Sower Temptation available without a top deck's land that doesn't come into play tapped. Anyway, it looks like it's all going to work out for Anti-Mullen. I agree. It seems likely to force game 5 at this point.
Cards? 3. Good ones.
Well, there's no Kefkin in there.
Here is Sower of Temptation. Does take the Stalwart. Not the most exciting thing to steal, but that was the right way to spend that turn. Here comes Cloud Goat Ranger.
Your turn. Okay. My turn?
Yeah, Mullen's other play was to leave up Cryptic Command there.
12?
Yeah.
Yes. That was a bit nasty.
Did you just Sower the Ranger here?
Yes, I think I do. I guess you risk Revelark if you do that. You can Agony Warp the Ranger, right?
Sure.
There's the Fairy Conclave to play tapped. As Marlon studies his options. Does he leave up Cryptic Command mana? Does he play the Sower? That's 3 out of 5 matchup, and Karem up 2-1. Marlon trying to come all the way back from 2-0 down.
Toughness power.
Okay, decides to kill the Cloud Goat Ranger now. Main phase. Because he wants to attack. Does not want the Cloud Goat Ranger to potentially block a flyer.
17? Yep.
Karem takes everything. Does not want to trade 2 tokens for his Stalwart back.
Oh, there's a Wizen's End.
There is a Wizen's End. Karem looks pretty happy with himself. That came off the top. Yep. Oh, but there's Spellstutter Sprite. Karem much less happy now. Karem sends his tokens in.
11.
They trade off for flying token and the sprite. Down comes Knight of Metagram.
A mini Rocks War Monk.
10.
Marlin down to 10.
Cards.
1 card left in Hannesberg's hand.
Always. Always. That's a good one. That's nice. Not bad. Okay. What can't hit but this?
Sower steals Knight of Metagram.
You got a 12.
And 5 more power worth of attackers. A little bit of life gain for Auntie Marlin now. Knight of Metagram will power up the Bitter Blossom. Oh, but here's Revelark.
Pretty good. Not bad.
Pretty good. Don't know if it's enough.
9.
You just send everybody, right? Maybe not the...
That's an hit. Enough.
Tap and hit, says Auntie Marlin.
8.
Karem asks if that's enough.
10. And you're 12.
Uh-oh.
Not enough. Enough if I draw a land. Enough if I draw a land.
No, this is sort of an interesting thing, right? Auntie Marlin did not actually tap the land. He just revealed a card.
And he said, see, I have this, you're dead, right?
It's a pretty elegant little play, right? In a way, Auntie Marlin got Karem to point out a mistake without Auntie Marlin actually committing to the play. It's a pretty intelligent play. I mean, a lot of people don't do that, right? You can say, hey, if I do this, you're dead, and your opponent will usually scoop if it's right, and if they've got a trick up their sleeve and they don't scoop, you can start to figure out what you're missing. I mean, you laugh, but it's actually a
absolutely.
really smart play. Yeah, I mean, Marlin misread the life totals, but no punishment because, he sort of trained himself to make this very intelligent, I'm going to do this and then you'll be dead. Well, it didn't mean he did it. It's a tough play to defend yourself against, too, right? What is Karem supposed to do? He's supposed to say, okay, tap your mana, or...
Yeah, pretty much.
Revelark attacks. Seems like he chumped here. And that's exactly what Auntie Marlin
He's
does.
still short of the damage he needs to.
Right. And here's Wizard's then.
1 card left.
Well, now he can counter and tap, and he's got enough mana to activate Univault and Fairy Conclave. Right. I think Command is now lethal. Counter tap. He gets to untap, he'll have the mana to power up the Conclave and the Mutavault, which I think does make it lethal. And Karem is just
As long as that's not on me, right?
What's that?
As long as the 1 card in his hand's not on me.
Fair.
Which is certainly what he's representing it to be.
That's a good point.
Okay.
And yeah, Auntie is worried about an unmake. No, it turns out it's a Knight of Metagram.
Now he just
Now it works. Yeah, I think Karem's wrong to play that there.
That's not okay.
Now it's easy. Right. Now there's no threat of unmake. Now Auntie should just Cryptic Command, tap everything, untap, activate his creatures. Oh, but he does Spell Stutter Sprite. Is that lethal?
What's that?
1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Cryptic Command would have been lethal. He drew a land off the top. It's the second time he's sort of made the not quite optimal play and drawn a land to save himself.
No, it's enough.
Now the land off the top is enough because of Mutavault. But he could have just countered instead of Spell Stutter Sprite.
was the last card in his hand?
Right, there's no cards in Karem's hand. It was...
Tap your guys and draw a card. Activate and hit.
All right, we're going to game
Marlin
5.
force game 5. So the Finnish player sends the Estonian into game 5. Hannes Karem needs to win to keep alive his Rookie of the Year hopes. Both players would love to be the 2008 Magic the Gathering World Champion. Jamie Park awaits in the finals for one of these guys.
And he's happy to see this go to game 5.
Sure. More time for playtesting. More time to potentially exhaust these guys, too. Monty Mullen played a little bit of a sloppy game there. I mean, there were 2 different points where I think he made not quite the optimal play. Got away with it. Both cases, he top-decked the land to sort of make it not matter.
He had it right. His opponent was down to very few.
But yeah, he was so far ahead of the game, it didn't really matter.
I think when your opponent plays the gold medal stalwart for full price,
You stop thinking.
you're like, okay.
Now is the time to
kind of
conserve brain power.
He was kind of out of the things his deck does.
Karem will be going first in this 5th and deciding game, though. So we could see that New York playtest circle claim half the Pro Tours this year. That's what Jamie's trying to do, right?
Johnny Draft would take 2 Pro Tours. That would be insane.
I mean, Jamie Park's 1 match away from, that Johnny Draft. That's essentially the mailing list, right? The group hangs out at Finkel's, drafting constantly. Gaining to test constructed when necessary.
And it's funny. There's a lot of players in that group who maybe you don't even necessarily know, but who've been, really kind of got the fever. There's been a lot of PTQing going on this season.
Yeah.
Josh Rabbit's qualified for the Pro Tour. He qualified for Kyoto. He won a PTQ. He's going to Kyoto. He can, take some vengeance on you there for the old man comments. Chris Manning qualified.
Going first now.
Okay. And you have a couple people who really just going around to PTQs in wider and wider circles.
Yeah.
Sort of attempting to take part in this New York Magic Renaissance.
Still got the OMSs in town playing it there?
Yeah, you don't see them too much at the PTQs, but you do see them in a couple of PTQs. Yeah, they still draft.
That's just another Pro Tour champion in Steve O.
Yeah. We talked a lot about Mike Turin being the best limited player of all time. I think Steve O'Mahony Schwartz gives him a run for his money. I mean, Steve O'Mahony Schwartz is certainly the greatest Rochester drafter of all time.
Individual Rochester.
Yeah, individual Rochester.
Sure. Mike beats him 2 formats out of 3, I think. Team Roch and Booster Draft. No, Steve-O, it's true, though, that Steve-O pretty much taught the world how to draft. I mean, at the beginning, as Limited was becoming established as one of the ways that people were going to play Magic, I mean, there was Steve.
Right.
And he was just a fixture on the scene.
Although to be fair, when he's making the finals in Mines, very quietly, I mean, it's just not, you just didn't get the same coverage outside of the top 8. You barely even got coverage in the top 8 at those older events.
Right.
Mike Turin has a top 16 at that tournament.
Yes.
I think that's amazing. It's something that really I wasn't aware of until I started doing some research for this year's Hall of Fame.
Oh, sure. I mean, I was teammates with Mike. So yeah, Mike went. I mean, he was sort of in my shadow. But Mike's first 2 Pro Tours, he topped 32.
Yeah,
Chicago.
I did notice that.
He topped
27th or 24th.
That was his very first Pro Tour ever. We had the same debut. Right.
What deck
did he play?
32? Same deck as you?
No, he played. He did not play the Necro deck. He played what we referred to affectionately as the car deck. Essentially, he never quite found a deck that he was comfortable with. He was really always a beatdown player. So he and Eric Lauer, we drove from Pittsburgh to Chicago. It's like about an 8-hour drive across the middle of the United States. And somewhere around about Indiana, he and Lauer are putting this thing together, and it's like white-red aggro. It had Stone Rains, Wildfire Emissaries, land tax. It was just like white-red, sort of weenie-ish to mid-range aggro. The car deck. I mean, I can barely remember what was in it. I remember the Stone Rains, because he... first or second round, he's playing against Water Spout Jin, and the guy plays Water Spout Jin off of a Sky Diamond and some like random land, so he's only got one island. Mike Stone Rain's the only island, kills the Water Spout Jin. It's just like, how can this be happening? This is just like crazy concoction of cards that Mike and Eric threw together while I'm driving across Indiana. And yeah, Mike puts up a top 32. And then, yeah, next Pro Tour, he puts up a top 16.
Right. And that problem?
Yeah, I did make money at Mike, but Mike beat me there.
Yeah.
Had enough and more.
Enough and more.
Now, how does Graham played in the team tournament too? How exhausted is he at this point? You know, he's playing more match. He was up earlier than everybody yesterday.
Yep. He does look a little tired.
Worlds is an unusual Pro Tour.
It's exhausting.
It's a long week. You know, most of these, you know, it's just like, oh, it's a weekend. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But I mean, really, stuff starts
Thursday,
happening on
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Friday party on Wednesday.
All right, everybody else is done, but you have to play 2 rounds of team still. It's long. And
there isn't anything they'd rather be doing, so let's be fair.
Maybe drafting. Only Karem's second event.
What's that?
Only his second event for Karem, too. He's only played 1 Pro Tour before this one.
Yeah, it was interesting. We were talking about Irvin Tormes. Irvin Tormes was really the front runner of the tournament the whole weekend.
5-1, 6-0?
Up until he crashed into the extended format.
Yes. You had dinner with him the night before, right?
What's that?
What was he? You was telling me the story about him at dinner?
No, I think it was Rich Hagon.
Friday night?
Sorry.
Irvin's like, what do I play? What do I play in extended? Jake says fairies. Jacob Van Loon, why would I play fairies in extended? Because it beats elves is the answer. He's like, elves? We're talking about extended. No one plays elves in extended. But Irvin Tormes not exactly keeping up with the constructed metagame. That's not his game.
Hey, he doesn't go to a lot of Pro Tours. He has 2 top 8s in 8 appearances.
Yeah, he's Pro Tour number 8 or number 9 this weekend.
Had he put in, you know, a little extended work, he could have easily had 3 and 9. Yeah,
maybe. All right, Hannes Karem has been forced to mulligan. Draws up 6-card hand. Aaron McCastry is somewhere off stage rooting, go to 5, go to 5, go to 5. McCastry clinches Rookie of the Year if Auntie Mullen wins this game. Karem keeps those. Auntie Mullen studies his own draw. Keeps it 1 game to find out who plays Jamie Park for the world title. Wow, Karem kept 5 land and a Figure of Destiny.
That was definitely the resigned, I don't want to shuffle my deck again keep.
Yeah. Draws Revelark off the top. Okay, Figure does hit for 2. Figure of Destiny, if you're going to keep 5 and 1,
yeah,
and actually I think it's reasonable because
you've got
it's
stuff
Figure
to do with all that mana.
You've got something to do on turn 2. You've got something to do on turn 3. I think that's actually better than going to 5. I mean, it's not good, but I think it probably is better than going to 5. Here's Bitter Blossom. All right. Karem draws something, didn't see, pumps Figure to 4-4, and smash.
You're 14, you're at 13.
Bitter Blossom does take him to 13. Okay, now Karem has given himself a couple draw phases. We'll see if he's got any more threats. I see Windbreast Heights.
Not an exciting land to see when you kept the 5 land.
Well, he's got Revelark, so his draw phases have gone land Revelark. Meanwhile, Auntie Mullen has a Mutavault, Spellstutter Sprite, another land, Cryptic Command, Remove Soul, an island, and an Infest. So nothing that actually deals with a 4/4.
Well, he can bounce it. He can bounce it once he gets the Cryptic Command mana.
Fair, but
Yep.
the chump block of the
Force
Periscope.
field
So
it.
yeah, force field in effect. Windbreast Heights for Karem.
Looks like he saw a couple more lands there, so that was a nice.
Deck should be fixed with spells by now.
My turn?
Spectral Procession is underneath.
How ironic.
Yeah. Well, it falls to 12 to make that fairy token. Island. Cards.
Form. Two.
Alty's pretty happy to sit here and force fill for a couple of turns.
Couple turns, yeah.
All right, happy's probably a strong word, but
Yeah, I mean, he's got a... I think you're right, though. I mean, next time there's a spell he wants to counter, he gets to bounce figure in addition. There's Ranger of Eos. I do think he's got to counter Ranger of Eos. So this is counter bounce. Yep, there you go. Ranger of Eos heads to the bin. Figure of Destiny heads back to his hand, and Karem does have the ability to replay it. There's land number 5, and the figure is back. Mullen down to 11 thanks to their process.
would you invest here?
Would I infest here? Interesting. I think he has an Agony Warp in his hand, so I'm going to say no. I would wait and try to Agony Warp as a response to the second pump.
Sure, no blocks.
I think I run no blocks and hope he pumps twice.
Right, absolutely.
And if he declines, hey, that's okay. Now there's a 2-2. What are you going to do now? Yeah.
Secluded Glen shows him a spell stutter strike.
I think Milo's just supposed to say go. He can also go block with Mutavault to force the double pump. Although that's bad because he'll stack damage first.
Right.
Land number 6. Karam has definitely hit a lot of land this draw. Does send Figure of Destiny in. That's what he's got to do. I think the right play for Mullen here is no blocks, Agony Warp as response to the second pump. And if Karam only pumps once, I think you can live with that. Like, okay, you have a 2-2. You're going to put another 2-2 on the table? Fine, I'll infest.
Right.
You want to pump again? I'm going to Agony Warp then.
Activate.
Okay, he does activate Mutavault. Yeah, the trick here is that it allows... He's going to double block. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, he wants to force him to pump.
Yeah, but it's transparent. Yeah, Mutavault. The problem here is that now Karem can go pump one, stack damage, pump a second time. I think this is worse than not blocking. Karem is smart to say, okay, stack damage. I mean, there's not a lot at stake here. It's just a question of whether Karem taps 3 lands or not, but why not make Karem tap those 3 lands?
4 damages in this deck.
Oh, now he can pump as a response.
It doesn't matter. It still gets
Mutavault is still going to kill it.
Yeah, it seems fine. The problem is that you haven't gotten him to pump it up.
Yep.
The extra time.
Yep, I think Mullen could have played this and just wind up with 3 more lands if Karem's tapped. But Agony Warp trades for Figure of Destiny in any case. Now here's Revel Arc. Mullen has the Remove Soul. So Karem passes the turn.
How long was Remove Soul in standard environments before people seriously started playing it?
Well, creatures didn't used to be this good. Like back in the day, spells were just better than creatures. Now you've got a world where creatures are just awesome. Everybody's playing with creatures in their deck because those are the best cards. So yeah, now Remove Soul becomes relevant when it didn't used to be.
17?
Yes.
Marlon goes on the attack. 17 to 10. Karem mulligan to 6 in this game. Kept a land-heavy draw.
Mulligan to 2 in a way, right?
Yeah, I mean, he kept figure and 5 lands. Marlon wound up at 10 before the dust settled, but now the dust is pretty much settled. And here's land number 7. Okay, here's Wizened Sen. Looks like Auntie Marlon might come all the way back. Hannes Karem, the Estonian national champ and the potential rookie of the year, rattled off 2 quick victories in this match, but they play best 3 out of 5. Auntie Marlon won game 3, won game 4. Aaron DeCastri just off screen, watching, waiting for his team final. Australia comes on stage right after this match is done. Will Aaron come on as a Rookie of the Year, or will Hannes Karem somehow find a spot for himself in the finals? Things looking good for DeCastri, things looking good for Auntie Marlon. Two fairies attack, dropping Karem to 15. Oh, here comes Mistbind Click.
This one?
That should just about do it. Marlon just trying to decide what's champion. If he champions a token, it's gone forever. If he champions Bitter Blossom, well, he doesn't accidentally lose to Bitter Blossom damage somehow, but his supply of tokens goes away.
Crunchroll, you want them, you make more tokens.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is the right play. Karem resignedly taps all his lands, shifts the turn back. Marlon falls to 8 from Bitter Blossom. Time to get Mutavault involved. I think he's willing to trade it for Wizened Sen if that's what Karem wants to do. Auntie Marlon's board is Bitter Blossom, 3 Fairy Rogue tokens, a Mistbind Click, a Mutavault, and 6 other lands. He does activate the Mutavault, sends 8 power worth of dudes into the red zone. Karem's got no choice, really. He's got to trade Wizened Sen for Mutavault.
Dark 9.
Takes 6 more down to 9. Hard to see how Karem stitches together a victory from here. Full price for Gold Meadow Stalwart. And Oblivion Ring.
Does that resolve?
No. There's Spell Stutter Spring. No Oblivion Ring. Now there's 8 power worth of attackers. Auntie Marlon can send Hannes Karem to 1. Marlon does fall to 7 from the Bitter Blossom. Seems to be total control. Monty just counting it up, making sure, trying to figure out, should I leave some guys back? It's not like there's haste coming out of the kitchen.
He always leaves one guy back.
I know.
One.
There you go. Go. Hannes Karemba's at 1. Last draw
Is this
phase.
the card?
May as well attack with my 2-2 dork. There's the hand. Auntie Marlin comes all the way back. He'll be playing Jamie Park for the World Championship title.
you go and win-
Hannes
win this
Karem
thing.
exits in the semifinals. He says, all right, you got me, now go win it.
Yeah,
Bring the world title to Europe. Aaron
Otherwise,
Nicastri is
you
your
would've-
Rookie of the Year. The Australian
Congratulations,
clinches it.
Aaron.
And the Australian now comes on stage to play in the team final. It'll be Australia versus the United States.
Mindsetter for the games that I'm starting.
And that'll be happening momentarily.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Nicastri chased all around the world.
He did?
Right after he won Australian Nationals, he went to Grand Prix Paris.
Yes.
He stayed with the French players.
Yes,
he
he did.
traveled all throughout Asia. He did not pick up a lot of points.
No, he made a
but
lot
he
of
picked up
strides, though.
relationships,
Yeah.
he picked up experience, and he
That's-
picked up confidence.
Yes.
And now he's picked up the
You
Rookie
saw
of the
that
Year
on
title.
display. And Nicastri put up a 17th place finish here. He's got at least 4 points, 5 points now from the team competition. That's got him to 33. So he's the Rookie of the Year.
And then a nice player club level for next season.
Yeah. He got to level 6. So Australia will be up. They'll be playing Team USA. It's Gian Black and Jacob, the champ.
Jacob, the U.S. national champion.
We'll be right back. We're going to